From the bowels of the unknown. From the bowels of the unknown. Welcome to episode number 1. I'm Brandon McIntosh. This is my co-host, Tyler Shaftsma.
Hello, thanks for having me.
We are members of Whale Pranks. We are half of Whale Pranks. Whale Pranks is 4. We are 2. Brandon, Tyler, welcome to the show.
The show is brought to you by Whale Pranks.
It's brought to you by Whale Pranks.
Brandon, what is this new show all about? You
What's the
came
show
to me,
about?
and what did you say?
I came to you and I'm like, Tyler, I want to talk about really weird shit. And you're like, what kind of weird shit?
And you were like, I don't know, it's the unknown.
Just weird shit? Stuff we don't understand, the unknown, the paranormal, the fringe science, some may say.
As you know, because I'm such a good listener, I'm always there
Yeah.
to listen to your crazy theories. You and I have had conversations for years about weird stuff, about stuff that we can't explain, that people can't explain, but it's interesting.
It's very fascinating. I'm not obsessed. I'm not a full believer, but I love the stories and I love the depth that some of these stories have and how I am somewhat of a believer in some of the subject matter.
I would say you're a full-hearted believer from what I know of you.
Either way, I like to bat around these topics, these subject matters. We're
talking ghosts and ghouls and UFOs and
real life X-Files.
Mysteries, conspiracy theories, all that shit.
Just anything weird.
How long have you been fasting? I'm gonna start fucking interviewing you as your co-host.
Interviewing me, yeah.
Because I think this first episode.
Really, why I want to do this is because we always, in the Whale Pranks podcast, we've done 80 episodes. Kind of took a break. We're just like, hey, we've talked a lot. We ran out of shit to talk about. But me and you, we love talking about the paranormal, UFO sightings, stuff like that, reptilians, shape-shifting, mantis men. But just weird stuff like that. Reports of these things all over the world. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's fun to talk about. And but we always get in big debates over it. But sometimes it's just... I just want to take on that subject matter itself. And this is what this show will be. Just the paranormal. And other weirdness. The unknown.
From the bowels of the unknown.
How many times are we going to say this today? This is a show about the paranormal.
About the unknown. Because I think it's important that people know that this show may go down some serious dark holes and some black holes and some
buttholes and some
buttholes.
It's going to go some places. But
it's going to be different than our other show. It's you and me talking about things that we're interested in that are really weird and unknown because it's something that we've always talked about when there's not cameras on and not audio recording, you know. You're always coming to me with some weird alien circle or crop circles or something. Yeah, and you're always sending me videos. I sent you an article today about
where did this all stem from? Like, have you ever had something in your life, experience in your life that kind of made you go onto the side of believing of...
Besides the one that we had together, because we're going to talk about that later in the show.
Oh yeah, that one's on the edge, but we could talk about
before I met you.
Yeah.
Before I never an encounter or anything. I was always interested in the stars and sci-fi was always around. My dad always watched Star Trek and sci-fi movies, and that makes sense to me. Like, I don't think humans are the only ones.
It was Star Trek that really changed it over?
I would say it was Star Trek just because watching that as a young kid, as a TV show, where TV shows are fake and they're made.
Yeah, but I did the same thing when I used to love science fiction stuff, like Independence Day and E.T. and Mars Attack. That all came out. Well, E.T. is around for a while. That's my favorite movie. It's E.T.
Yeah,
that sparks.
But I think it's simple knowledge that we can't be the only ones in this fucking universe. That's a selfish thing to think. That you're the only fucking people that evolved this way. And I'm not even saying evolved this way. It can be any way you want to. There could be a planet out there just full of whales. Another water planet, because 82% of our planet's fucking water. And there could be another water planet out there that just has nothing but water life and fucking whales and dolphins and fish.
all I asked you is have you ever like saw a ghost or like saw a UFO?
No, it just
you're going off about whale planets.
I'm just saying that it made sense to me that these other things would exist or in the world, and then for ghosts and stuff, a buddy of mine, like, hands down claims his house is haunted, or his house he grew up in was haunted, and I had been there as a young kid, and actually, like, on Halloween one year, his parents, like, dressed it all
Of course,
up,
Halloween.
like
that's when it's gonna happen.
Like a spooky house, and the house was already scary, because it's one of the oldest houses in town. So then, every time I would go there, I'd get fucking scared, because they would make it a big haunted house on fucking Halloween, but then when I would go there just to hang out with my friend and stay the night and stuff, you'd always have this awkward feeling, and then they always said this house was haunted, and I fucking believe it. Like, personally, I didn't have any
what kind of awkward
sightings
feeling?
Or things, but there's just an awkward feeling.
Like you walk out of the men's room, like right into a bunch of girls, awkward, or like.
But you know those awkward feelings. You don't know if they come from a true place or they come just from hearing all these stories beforehand. But that's someone who I'd like to get on the podcast to talk about his scary house.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Because he's definitely got some crazy stories. And,
I think he's told me some of those.
That just kind of makes sense to me, too. Like, because you don't know. The bottom line is we don't fucking know. So, you don't know, so why say it doesn't exist when it could? You know, I believe in anything's possible. Like, sure. Yeah, there's shapeshifter reptilians and mantis men walking around and going interdimensionals. Why not? I haven't seen it personally, but I'm not saying.
I feel like you're throwing your. I feel like you're throwing your beliefs at people.
I'm splattering shit all over the wall right now.
You're taking it. You're up here. I need you like right here.
I'll come way down.
I'm on this level.
Sorry, I fucking went off the top. Then we can start again though if we want.
Take 4. Let's jump into some topics. So
no, let's not jump in because I want to know your fucking side of it. I want to know if you ever seen anything as a kid and why you got to this place.
Well, obviously, when I was a little kid, I found out about ghosts pretty easily. Halloween, I figured it out. Yeah. Ghosts creeped me out. I was afraid of ghosts. I was fascinated by ghosts, but it was never a big thing.
You ever read any Casper comics?
Casper, no. And I saw the movie came out around then with like, what's that chick in it? Christina Ricci, yeah. And, I didn't think much of it, but I used to love alien movies. Mars Attacks? Yeah, that came out? That was incredible. I love that movie. Independence Day came out right around then.
And, like, cartoons, the cartoons and stuff that we had, they always had alien. What was that cartoon with that little purple alien? He came from another planet. I forget the fucking name of the cartoon. But it was awesome. It was just this little purple alien, and he was a shapeshifter, and he helped people and stuff. And like the Ninja Turtles, they had another dimension, Dimension X, and that's where all the fucking... Yeah. So, like, that was just a thing that was always around, and it just made sense.
You know what sparked it for me, though? Like, well, E.T. is my favorite movie. I said that already.
You'll say it a bunch of times.
Say it again. But,
does that last scene in E.T. always make you cry?
When E.T.'s leaving him?
Yeah. Every time?
I'm not gonna lie, it made me cry.
Well, I know it makes you cry. I've seen you watch it. I've seen you cry.
No, I don't cry anymore. I've seen it so many times.
A little bit?
Sometimes. I hold it inside and then go to my room and cry. Rub myself. But, no, but, you know what started it?
Yeah.
Fox.
News?
Fox started coming out in specials, because there's the big craze in the 90s with UFOs, alien sightings, like Area 51 specials on Fox. That's what got me. It was a Roswell special.
See, I didn't get Fox as a kid, but do you know what I
was a babysitter. I was 10 years old. We were watching a Roswell special on Fox. And between the babysitter and the show, I'm watching this. I'm like, this is cool. I'm thinking all these alien movies, they're all just stories. I'm not thinking any of this is real. And watching this, and the babysitter, like, this is real. Like, she believed it too. And I'm just like, it blew my mind. Like, I remember that moment where I'm just like, this stuff is real? Like, I'm 10 years old. I'm a little gullible.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying, too. And, like,
but that's where it started. That's where that piqued my interest.
Because that was something that was very popular when we were growing up in the fucking early 90s.
And that was 14 years ago. And to this day, I'm still... I'm so deep now, I believe.
How popular...
Wholeheartedly believe. I've looked way too deep into it.
How popular was that fucking classic picture of the gray alien that was on every fucking sticker that you would get at the mall and the fucking dollar thing.
How
many alien stickers did you have on your bicycle?
Jeez,
I had fucking
spilled my
I had a
coffee
bicycle with like purple fucking alien stickers that gray alien shape, the fucking you know the shape.
Yeah.
Fucking,
all over my TV.
Our bathroom at our fucking old apartment was just covered in that pink. That's an iconic picture now, and it became popularized because the media took that. Why is that something that's in our media? Like,
there's a theory that they're trying to slowly embed that picture of that alien into us.
Yeah.
For the moment of contact, but that's just a theory. That's not just me rambling on. But we'll get into that one day when I have an actual story about it. But I want to jump.
You want to jump in? I think people get it.
We got
now.
some subjects.
They get what the fuck
I'm pretty sure they get it. I'm pretty sure half the people have turned off. Like, we get it. They're like fast forwarding.
Okay, these guys like aliens, and they're gonna talk about it.
And like they can edit all this out, but they don't. They're just wasting time.
Okay, go to our first topic for tonight's show. We're gonna fucking start this thing.
So I didn't know where to start looking.
Star Fox though, video games and stuff.
Star
you ever
Fox?
play Star Fox? That took place in that was a fucking fox in a fucking rocket ship.
Thanks. Well, speaking of UFOs, let's jump right into that. In my news feed, everyone's got Google Chrome. They got all your favorite news sites. You know what's my top one news site? Latest UFO sightings. Not gonna lie.
That's your number one bookmark page right now.
That's how lame I am. No, but it's in my top 10.
Okay,
that's for sure. Because I don't know. It's my guilty pleasure. I just love watching UFO videos.
We get it.
Some are bad, some are good. But
that's the first story.
So now we're just me and you. We're gonna take a look at a video here, and we're gonna judge for ourselves.
Okay.
This is in Florida, and there's audio too. This is sounds like they're somewhere real south in Florida, judging by the accents.
Don't judge, Brandon. Just watch.
So it's UFOs confronted by black helicopters over Fort Myers. All right, let's watch this.
So you can see there's 3 lights, 3 white lights in the sky, equally spaced, one on top of another.
Are they going for the lights?
And there's helicopters. You can tell which one is a helicopters because they're blinking.
Yeah,
they're
the 2 at the bottom are blinking like helicopters. See we'll get into the problem of videos like this afterwards, but
I wonder where it's at.
Yeah, like why do they have to be black helicopters? So
lights have dimmers.
So as you could tell in that video, that dinging sound, the guy left his front door open with the keys in the ignition.
I hate when you do that.
Yeah, don't you hate it? And it's ding 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 ding. It won't stop. All right, to the UFO video.
Yeah, so they do identify that there's helicopters, right?
Yeah, they identify the helicopters.
And then there's a light in the middle of it. And I've seen
3 lights.
I've seen some videos lately.
Most videos
of helicopters escorting predator drones.
Yeah.
Which is something scary. That's all this could be. Or it could just be helicopters. You don't know what that big light in the middle is. I'm saying it's probably the military moving something that they don't want us to see.
It's a 3.5 minute video, and they're not moving at all.
But they're doing it at night.
That's true.
Which is tough with these videos because...
And it's at Fort Myers.
You can't get the right exposure of these lights at night with your fucking iPhone. So what you're getting is just kind of blurred out lights in the sky, 2 of which are blinking that we can obviously identify that are helicopters, and the people in the video say that they're helicopters.
Or the reptilians traveling in orbs.
Oh, quit stretching, Brandon. You know what this video is. It's helicopters.
We're completely flipped through. It's you bringing up reptilians. And I'm trying to be logical.
I bring up reptilians when it's necessary, Brandon. You just throw it around like it's...
You're right. No, reptilians are more like in the White House.
It's a serious subject, and let's not jump all over the map right now. You want to discuss this video. So, what I think it is obviously helicopters, 1.
Helicopters.
The bright lights that aren't identified in the middle,
could be
probably
drones.
something military, that the military is moving. Is this close to a military base of any sort?
Fort Myers.
So that's
Boom.
a fort. It's a fucking...
It's a fort.
The military has forts. We know that.
All right.
This podcast is very uneducated too. By the way, it's just us talking.
Yeah, this is just us reading stuff online and getting educated.
Yeah, trying to be.
It's our own opinions, man.
Yeah, so I think it's definitely helicopters moving something, either something that the military doesn't want you to see, or it's something that the military doesn't fucking care if you see, but they're doing it at night, and that's why people are freaked out, because there's a high paranoia now.
Yeah, people just jumping out their cell phones. Oh my god, look at those lights. Get those lights on camera.
Yeah, you don't have to do impressions.
Why? It can't be like me doing it. I don't live in Florida.
So that's what I think this video is. And you see tons of these on the internet right now, and that's like the cool thing that we can all record, but you're gonna see...
That's just the one of the day.
You gotta sort the shit out. Like, we've been talking about this. There's a classic guy who posts videos. You introduced me to him. And he always films like plastic bags or birds, and he claims that they're UFOs.
Yeah. Everyone check this guy out. Here, I'm gonna put up his title here. And I want to check out his videos, leave some comments, just see if you could figure out what these videos are. But this guy, he lives in Toronto, and he films like plastic bags and like balloons and in the updraft, like way up in the sky, and he films it. He just calls them orbs and UFOs, and
he's a trickster, is what he is.
He's a trickster, or there's something wrong with him. He just truly believes he's capturing.
No, because
it's just a seagull flying around. He's just like.
There's one where he's at.
He could be a comedic genius.
Yeah, there's one where he's at a fucking Bruce Springsteen concert.
Yes, that was great. It's at night too.
So you can hear the music in the background.
He's at the Rogers Center in the Sky Dome too. Yeah, and like you can hear the boss singing, and the guy's got his phone up in the sky. Obviously, it could be anything. Plane. He's just following this light in the sky, watching it.
And that's how you know he's a trickster, because he's listening to the boss. Yeah. Bruce Springsteen, and he's just like, hey, look at this is going to be funny. UFO sighting at a Bruce Springsteen concert. He knows he's going to get all the fucking 40-year-old ladies that are still wet to Bruce Springsteen looking at his video. And like, you and I click on it, and we know right away that that's a plastic bag. We know that's not a UFO because we're trained in this. No,
we're professionals.
We're professional YouTube video watchers.
Yeah. Yeah, we got another clip here. This one made me laugh here.
This clip made Brandon laugh.
Chupacabra attacks BMW, or was it a lizard man? Let's look at this article here. Comes with a video. They interview this guy in I think it's Palm Springs. Where is that, Florida?
So we're just jumping from fucking strange lights in the sky right to Chupacabra.
Yeah, that's how the show goes. It's weird. It's fucking boom.
It's fucking...
We're in the Chupacabra.
From the bowels of the unknown.
From the bowels of the unknown.
Chupacabra video.
Creature bites Palm Springs man. Is Palm Springs in Florida or like California?
Palm Springs is Florida, I think. I have no clue. I don't know why I did the dramatic...
All right. Let's watch this video together. Desert Sun.
It was about 6:45 in the morning, Sunday morning, and I saw a piece of the cover of the car lying alongside of it, and so I went over and took a look and saw the damage. Well, the neighbor 2 doors down over here, he said he came out that night
front fender's a little
watching
chewed up.
television about 10:45 at night or so, and he thought two large animals, and they're big dogs. He thought maybe big dogs running across the neighbor's lawn down towards this way. We figured, well, maybe they were chasing something that got underneath our car that was,
that
had
makes
the
sense.
cover over it.
That makes
and then
sense.
The animal, whatever it was in there, went up into the wheel well or something. They tried to go after it. We didn't find any feathers. There was blood. There was, no skin, nothing, evidence of an animal being
punk
killed.
Kids, teenagers.
Later on that day, the early evening, a woman came by distributing flyers of a lost animal. It was a cat. Okay, well, I'll show her the damage and let her take a look. And she said, oh, yeah, that's a Chupacabra. I think I'm saying it right. She said, oh, yeah. I saw one down the street several weeks ago, down on Cherry Hill Street across the way. And she said, it's a big animal and so on. She said, oh, yeah, they're a mix of coyote and a wolf, which I'd never heard of.
A mix of a coyote and a wolf is a coy wolf.
Fellow at the
Haven't you watched the
body
David
shop
Suzuki
in Germany,
special?
He saw something like this in Romania once, he said. It was either a big dog or a wolf or something that went after some animal. And the insurance adjuster said he saw something similar to this up in Hemet several months ago. And then the guy at the BMW dealership, the guy in the service department, said that a few months ago he came to work early and he saw this large animal running up into the canyon up there. So that's, you know, whatever it is, that's the speculation. So obviously it was somebody with who was aggressive and something was aggressive and then wanted to...
Okay. Yes. Wrap it up, old man. Wrap it up.
So, this old guy who had his BMW mauled by a chupacabra, and also for everyone watching should go check out my chupacabra video on YouTube. We'll post a link.
Yeah, we'll post a link right here. Right.
Because I had a chupacabra sighting as a child, and here's the link to that. But, so this guy, he isn't a chupacabra believer at all, right?
No, he hasn't heard of it apparently until some random lady in the street told him it was a chupacabra.
Some lady came over and said she saw one chasing her cat.
So he basically answered his question right away. He's like, his neighbor saw two big dogs run up across his lawn at his car. It was obviously like two big Rottweilers chasing a cat under a wheel well.
That's what you think?
Look at it. It's just torn to shit. There's bite marks. Like, why does it have to be a chupacabra? Chupacabras they're supposed to be, when people first started spawning chupacabras, it was like Puerto Rico and Mexico, and they called them goat suckers, because you see these weird little creatures. They're like hairless almost, and they have like quills and big eyes, and like people couldn't really describe what they look like, but they were weird. But they'd find remains of goats and cows, like with all their blood and organs drained and like cut and mutilated in weird ways, like weird bite marks. So they started blaming it on this chupacabra, and they started throwing out things like, oh, it was made in a laboratory and it escaped, or it's an alien from outer space, or some kind of lost species of animals. It's like, that makes the most sense.
A rare species of dog, like.
So when they started spotting them in Mexico and like California and like New Mexico and stuff, yeah, basically they have real videos of it, and it's a really weird looking thing, but they've actually identified it.
Yeah.
It's like a little ugly coyote, or like
with big sharp teeth.
Yeah, it's got big sharp teeth, a big snout, and it's got a real long tail. It's real skinny.
And they would fuck up lots of farmers' goats and stuff.
It looks like a Rottweiler mixed with like a rodent. It's like, here, I'll play a video right here. This is like a police officer following one of these.
Well, this all went down in broad daylight late last week. While cruising for troublemakers, the deputies come across what they think could be the legendary Chupacabra.
I'm seeing it, but I don't believe it. It's in the daytime.
A DeWitt County deputy in training reacts to seeing what just may be a Chupacabra.
They have a longer
I've been
tail,
patrolling back roads for a long time, and I've never run across anything like this until that day.
Look at the
Last
snout on
Friday,
that.
It looks
before
like
sunset,
a
Corporal
weird
Brandon
coyote
Riedel and
with
his
a long
partner were
snout and a
checking
long
fence
tail.
lines near Cuero when they stumbled across the alleged creature of the night.
We came around a corner and saw this.
Oh, if they
running
could
down
only
the road.
catch it.
Riedel says it's hairless with a long snout, short front legs, and long back legs.
Almost like
Strange.
rabbit-like back
Noticing
legs,
the
like a
unique
rabbit.
photo op, he turned on his squad car's dash cam.
So I hit the record button, and it was just, this is what we got.
What they got has the deputies and even Sheriff Jody Vasquez
That's
baffled.
weird.
It's amazing.
That's an ugly canine.
Yeah, I think it could be just what that was. Obviously, is just some ugly canine-like creature, and that could be obviously what's killing all these sheep and goats. Dogs kill sheep and goats.
Yeah, they look like hyenas. They look like North American hyenas.
A wild dog of some sort.
Yeah,
But do you know what I think from the last video, the first video you played, the Chupacabra video?
Yeah.
I just think that Chupacabras like BMWs. Because the guy at the BMW
Or they don't like
dealership-
BMWs.
But the guy at the BMW dealership, he was like, he saw that a couple weeks back, so that's probably what it is. They like fancy
They're
cars.
working for Mercedes. They're the real, or Bentley. Bentley is actually producing these animals in a lab and releasing them
Go
with
watch
the
my
hatred.
Chupacabra video.
Yeah, go watch the Chupacabra video. But they're releasing them out into the night, and with a hatred for BMW cars, and they get into the dealerships, they get into the rich neighborhoods and they just destroy people's BMWs. They just take big chunks out of them. That's the theory going right now in this house.
But do you think, like, would you? I guess you would put chupacabras in the same category as like a Bigfoot or a mantis man or something like that.
No, a mantis man. That's a whole other dimension, my friend. Mantis man.
So you would put that as just a lost creature of the earth?
Yeah, it's just a really rare animal.
Okay. I think I agree with you on that. I think it's probably a rare animal in the south. Chupacabra's debunked on the Bowels of the Unknown.
Yeah, boom, nailed it. It's an ugly rat dog
with rabbit-like back legs and a long pointy tail. So
you're hearing it from us first. It's real.
It's real.
Boom.
What about have you ever? What's your theory on jackalopes? If we're talking about weird, strange animals, a jackalope is like a large buddy, like a hare, with
antlers.
With antlers, yeah. So I've always believed in jackalopes since I was little, because I remember seeing photos of them in a magazine or at a cottage somewhere, and it was just like little buddies with fucking antlers, and I don't know if I dreamt this. I think it's a dream or a half childhood memory of being on a snowmobile, and it might have just been a fucking rabbit, but being on a snowmobile, going down a long trail, back in the woods, like going ice fishing to a lake, but I was real young, and it probably was a dream, but I wanted to be real so bad. But I remember
you just want to see a jackalope so badly.
Chasing two fucking jackalopes with the fucking skis of a snowmobile, and then they darted off the trail. But I swear they were rabbits with horns, but I think it was a dream. So you get fucking so into this sometimes. Yeah. That's what these people that claim to see... You
want to hear about my maybe stories that might be paranormal, and really I'm just reaching?
Yeah, that's what you think that's what that was? It was probably just a fucking rabbit, and I just, with the
dream.
Branches of the trees and stuff, thought it was a jackalope. I think jackalopes are something that could exist. If you look at the skull of a rabbit, it's similar to a deer. You know, there's place for fucking antlers to come out, is what I'm saying.
It's a rodent and a hooved animal.
It's a hooved animal.
A hooved animal.
So I'm just saying it just could probably grow horns. And I think jackalopes probably did exist one time in evolution.
You never know.
Why would we have the fucking image you would think to put antlers on a rabbit?
People ate a lot of mushrooms ages ago and just drew up a lot of crazy stuff.
I guess so, but I think...
Crazy stories.
I believe in jackalopes. I'm saying that. Okay,
but
what's your reach? What's your reach? Like my jackalope snowmobile story.
I believe in Bigfoot. Not that I've seen a Bigfoot, but that's my one big belief. I don't know, like, that's another thing I've really dug really deep into. And I'm just like... It's got my attention. Like, I wouldn't bet money on it, but it's something. It's something to hold on to. I believe in you, Bigfoot. I'm saying I watch Harry and the Hendersons too many times, and I just want to run into the woods and hug Bigfoot, even though apparently he smells like rotting flesh and skunk shit
and like methane gas.
Yeah, just the worst smell.
It's like
that's why they call it the skunk ape in Florida.
But yeah, I put Bigfoot in the same category as the jackalope, but maybe a little more common because there are probably more Bigfoot sightings than jackalope sightings.
It's like, where they're spotting them, that whole west coast, like, there is so much room to hide. There is so much forest and mountains. Just, like, endless abyss of just mountain and forest you can hide in. And even if there's 1,000 of them existing on that west coast, no wonder there's only, like, a few spotted here and there.
And if they are semi-intelligent or they could be super intelligent.
The sightings you hear, like, they are fairly intelligent. And they don't want to be seen. They probably know plenty about us. Like, look how much we've taken over the world. Like,
look how good the
species could just be hiding out because they know what's good for them. We're like, we see what the people are doing. Fuck this. Deeper into the woods, we gotta hide from them. That they're building nuclear bombs.
I don't think they're building.
They're building
bombs.
Walmarts.
but there are creatures in the animal kingdom that are really good at hiding. Like the bobcat. How many times do people see a fucking bobcat or a cougar? They could travel miles in a day, right?
Yeah.
But we know they exist because there's a few sightings a little closer.
And there's a large number of them.
But if it's something like an ape-like creature...
They're still finding new species all the time. Like, especially in rainforests. Like, like jungles. Like the West Coast is a rainforest, basically. Where Bigfoot supposedly is. I don't know. I was on the West Coast probably 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
Tree planting out there.
So you're out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, out in the middle of nowhere, sleeping in a tent, like, below the mountains. And, like, it was right next to a watering hole. I don't know why I put my tent there, because it was terrifying every night, because you just hear animals come and just drink and play in the water, and I never want to see what it is. One night, though, it was like 3 in the morning, and you just hear plunk, plunk, and it's just like rocks just like landing, like hitting the water and like hitting the sides. Like you can hear rocks hitting rocks.
Yeah.
I'm like, who's throwing rocks? I check my watch. It's like 3 a.m. I'm like, there's only like 4 other tents out there with me, like in this area.
Were they close to you, the other tents?
Fairly close, but like no one's awake at this hour. We have to work at like 6 a.m. the next day. And I'm like, I'm terrified. I don't want to hear it. And like I can hear movement, and then just like rocks hitting the water, and like I'm just thinking in my head of all these Bigfoot reports I've read in my life, where it's just like rocks being thrown and sticks getting hit against like trees and stuff. I'm like, oh man, it's Bigfoot.
Do you know what I would say?
What?
I would say you saw a Bigfoot.
Solved.
No, but
No, I heard Bigfoot.
yeah, you definitely. Well, you heard rocks hitting water is what you heard.
It could have been a grizzly bear. Grizzlies can throw rocks, I'm sure.
If they would bat them, yes.
Maybe something was moving one place, and a big moose was just like standing in the water, and it's so high up, it's just taking a big dump. And just,
dude, that is not that far off of a fucking possibility.
That could be it. Like that's just
a deer or a moose shitting in the water and that.
Yeah, like big moose shit. So, kerplunk, kerplunk.
Or
and like something else moving up in the forest.
Certain squirrels and stuff will throw like berries and nuts from trees and stuff. So it could have been something throwing acorns into the water. You don't know who's throwing acorns.
No, it was heavy. It was heavy. Whatever.
Also, it could have just been what? Did you ask your fellow tree planters? It could have been someone else taking a piss and just like picked up a handful of rocks and threw them in the river. Sometimes I do that.
I don't know.
Bigfoot is the one that I think we will see get fucking solved real soon. Someone will bring a body in.
Supposedly they have DNA. They kind of prematurely came out the information.
Everyone says they have DNA on everything.
No, but this lady came out. They have 10 years of like hair and blood and like tissue samples.
You
and
would
bones.
think that stuff would be out there. Hairs, blood, tissue samples.
But they finally collected everything. They finally got everything together, and like they prematurely, like as soon as they said it, they're like, "Yep, we got it," and it's like some unknown ape species that started about 10,000 years ago. So apparently humans fucked some big ape and created an even bigger ape and created the Sasquatch creature.
And that's why they would have some intelligence and build these huts and homes and stuff.
Yeah, it's just like a weird...
Because what do they live in, caves, or do they think they build their little huts or something?
They don't really know. There's reports of caves, there's reports of... Yeah.
The thing is, there is so much untouched land out there that they're so fucking possible. Have you ever played in a bear cave?
It's not just whack jobs like spotting these
Have you ever been inside a bear cave?
No.
Okay, I've been inside a bear cave.
A bear cave?
Yeah.
What kind of bear cave?
Well,
was it that bar by the airport? The bear cave?
No. When we, again, like when I was a fucking kid, we would go ice fishing every winter and snowmobiling and stuff way up north, or not way up north, but like, you know, northern Ontario, and get off the path, like where our hunt, like my grandpa's hunting camp was, is way off the path and stuff. We would go ice fishing there, and it's like 3 miles across the water. You have to go by snowmobile and stuff. But you get bored of your ice fishing, you go explore the rocks and stuff. So then, like, the one day we were exploring the rocks and stuff, and I always, that whole time, was thinking, like, when am I gonna fucking see Bigfoot? Like, I was looking for it. But me and my cousins and stuff and my friends, we found a hole that went down into some rocks, like, and into this cave that opened up.
Yeah.
And then you could see on the other side where it would go out, and it was all dirt floor, and it slanted down and kind of got a little deeper.
Yeah.
And, like, you couldn't really see because it got real dark. And two of us hopped down there, and like it just didn't feel right. It felt like too accessible, too lived in, you know. And I can't 100% say if there was a bear in there when we were in there, because it got real dark and dipped down this kind of dirt tunnel, like.
Yeah.
And so I didn't see anything.
I think you would have heard it.
Didn't hear anything, and fucking. But I think it might have been like a bear den sometime before. You know, they have ones they use in the summers, and they have ones that they use like years before that they don't come back to. So it either was a bear den or just a fucking scary cave. But it felt used, like there was like sand, almost like dirt on the floor of it.
Used cave,
dude. What if I would have jumped into a fucking bear cave or a Sasquatch cave and got fucking raped by a bear?
Man, you got a good rock song. I want to jump into a used cave. Used cave.
That story had nothing to do with the unknown. But what?
Tyler's Adventures in a Bear Cave. But yeah, we're reaching a 40-minute mark. That's kind of what we're trying to hit here, but
well, what else do you have on your thing here?
That's really I got Australian worked for aliens. I haven't watched this video yet.
Okay,
let's just watch it.
Let's watch this video. And,
do you wonder what might lie out there deep in space? Do you want to believe we're not alone, that somewhere in the universe intelligent life may actually exist?
Our next guest says there is life out there. It does exist. Dr. Charles Hall says he spent 2 years working with extraterrestrial beings during his time with the American military. He claims the US military has actually been in contact with alien species for years.
Yes,
and
they
Dr.
have.
Charles Hall is here to explain, along with his wife Marie, live from what Bugs Bunny used to call Albuquerque, New Mexico. Now, thank you both for your time. Terrific to have you with us. Firstly, Charles, can you tell us your story of how you managed to come into contact with these beings as you worked with the military?
I'm a Vietnam veteran, and I enlisted in the Air Force in July 1964, and I was trained as a weather observer, and I was sent to Nellis Air Force Base, Nevada, outside Las Vegas, Nevada, and for 2.5 years I was sent up to the gunnery ranges up at Indian Springs, and I was given a clearance to allow me to go anywhere in Dreamland as long as I was alone. I discovered that up there at the north end of Indian Springs Valley, which you can see on the map in the state of Nevada here in America, that there was a base which the U.S. Air Force maintained for a group of extraterrestrials who were tall and white.
You can't control this. Yeah, I'm just going to keep this rolling in the edit.
I know. But this is something that's happening more and more. These old military guys.
These old farts just like coming out of the closet in a whole other way.
But like they're
coming out of
It's because they fucking know some shit that the military's not telling you, and now they're kind of at a point in their lives where they're like, you know what? I should probably get this off my chest and get it out there. Do you think it's that? Or do you think it's just these old guys who used to be in the military that are like, fuck, I should just make something up? Like, that doesn't seem believable. Why would they fucking do it? They have nothing to lose by making it up and nothing to gain by making it up. So, I fucking hold...
Are they insane? These people don't look insane.
Yeah, this looks like a regular guy. He was a weatherman for the fucking military, and he says he saw some shit. That he knows that they're hiding shit.
Well, I want to... Let's continue.
The weather observer was allowed to go up there, or they were allowed to come down to where I was, and that interaction took place over more than 2 years. Well, during those 2 years, I also came across, I also interacted to a lesser extent with the Roswell Greys, and I've also personally talked with the extraterrestrials that I call the Norwegians with 24 teeth, who come here from a very nearby star.
Is this one of those guys who thinks Norwegians are aliens?
Yeah. So there's people that claim that they see aliens and UFOs of these tall, blonde guys, long flowing hair, pale, and they speak a weird, funny, goofy language. I think these are just weird rednecks just seeing like Swedish tourists in their coming into their hometown, all wearing like the same suit. It's like it's like, oh my god, I know how to get my shotgun.
I believe you that these people are just claiming to see Norwegians or Swedish people. Swedes, if you will. And it could just be some sort of racial confusion. Or maybe there is an alien species that has that similar look. Because if you think about our evolution and how we are as humans, and what we look like, and what people in Norway or Sweden look like, and all different parts of the world, we all kind of look a little different. If you think about that, and if you think there's another planet similar to ours with a similar evolution cycle, they're fucking humans, their people would look similar to us. So it could be, it might...
And there could be a planet of just all whales. just all whales.
Because we don't fucking know what other planets' evolutionary fucking paths or journeys were and what their climates were to make them like that. So we could have another planet...
These don't have to be aliens. This could be us 1,000 years from now. Just time traveling, coming back.
See, that's the thing. You don't fucking know. And you gotta look into the unknown. But people who claim...
People are claiming they're seeing this. And like, you might... No, nobody listens to them. Like, man, this old guy... Poor old guy, like, going on the news. These Australians are obviously going to make, like, let's continue. We're not giving this a chance. We can cut it.
My experiences, my presentations, my books are unique because I'm the only person that I know of that was allowed to interact with the extraterrestrials, the tall whites, for more than 2 years.
So 3 different species of aliens you're talking about there, Charles?
Yeah, can you describe what they look like,
that is
what they
correct.
were like?
Well, I'll start with the tall whites. They're thinner than we are, and they're very frail. Throughout most of their life, they are the same height as I am, 5'11", but they live 10 times longer than humans. They live 600 or 800 years.
Wow.
But they don't age the way we do. When they get to be equivalent to a human of about 40 years, that means when they're about 400 years, they start growing again instead of aging as humans.
Right.
And then they go, and this continues, and so that by the time they get to be 600 or 800 years old, they're very tall, 8.5, 9, or 10 feet tall. But this is not necessarily good because their skeleton grows more than their internal organs. And so there comes a time after 600 or 800 years when their skeleton, their body is tall, but their organs can't support it. At which time they die a natural death because they're just flesh and blood creatures like we are.
This could just be another step of an evolutionary cycle on another planet, like I was saying, the whale planet or the insect planet, or this planet of these tall whites.
Tall white
Which I
dudes.
think we should choose a different name. Come on.
Tall whites.
But tall whites. And, you know, we as humans get to grow to fucking 5-6 feet or whatever. They've fucking stretched it a little longer. They get to grow fucking 10 feet and live 600 years.
You know, it's crazy, these tall whites. I'm reading a book right now about ancient civilizations, and I'm reading about South America and, like, all the religions they had there. And they're all following this god that came to them, basically they came from the ocean on a boat of serpents, they said. And it's a tall white man of, like, big stature, big beard, and robes. And, like, this is, like, thousands of years before, like, the Spanish even come there. Like, they're not seeing white guys, but they're saying they saw a white guy. Big, tall white guy, big, burly beard. And just taught them how to be civilized. Taught them everything they need to know. Taught about mathematics, just architecture, like, astrology, just...
Yeah,
and it's in every single story. And now they're described as tall white guys. Now this big guy, this old guy on the news here is talking about tall white guys. There's a connection. Yeah, I'm making a connection right here.
Yeah, exactly.
Connection on the podcast.
Well, exactly. And if they were
Bowels of the unknown,
if they were ahead of us in an evolutionary timeline, they would have the knowledge of mathematics and the knowledge of geometry and all that stuff to bring to us, and they would say, "Hey, here's also how you live to be 600. You quit eating like shit and fucking killing each other.
And if you live to your 400, you'll grow as tall as me.
Yeah, and then you'll get to grow fucking 10 feet and play NBA basketball.
Everyone's dream.
But,
Alright, let's continue.
The U.S. Air Force, and I'm speaking of the mid-1960s, was willing to give them anything they asked for. When I first met them, I was very afraid of them, and every human I met when you come across them out in the desert was naturally very afraid of them, and they were even more afraid of us. It's like running into a gorilla in the wild where the gorilla is on his home ground. So they had to go through a process of becoming used to being around humans before they could take part in the technology transfer program. I, as the weather observer, was the test human. As an enlisted man, I was expendable, you know.
Sure.
I was the one they send out there and say, practice talking to Charlie. And
Marie, let's bring you in. You've never seen these things for yourself. Are you a believer? Because probably a lot of people watching this morning are going to think, I don't believe him. It's ridiculous. How could it be possible?
Well, Charles was very intelligent in that he waited until we'd been married a couple of months before he told me about the extraterrestrials coming into his barracks at night. And he said, well, what do you think? And I said, I really don't care. I have never given any thought as to whether they exist or not, and I really don't care. I've known Charles. We've been married over 43 years. He may be a character, but I am his character reference, and I totally believe that this is real. Furthermore, we have had confirmations from people all over the world. We have never had any serious tire kickers, you know, people who say, well...
Well, certainly there seems to be a lot of people, around the world who would support your view on this, who seem to have had their own experiences, but probably not quite as intimately as you. Now, unfortunately, we are going to have to leave it there, Charles and Marie, because we're about to lose our satellite.
About to lose our satellite.
About to lose our satellite. Well,
I think we're about to lose our satellite.
Yeah, we're about to lose.
But I agree with his lady there.
He had kind of a she had a good way of believing, good philosophy of believing.
I don't know. I don't care if it's not directly harming me, but I think for me, the reason why I do care, the reason why
I'm dug too deep.
I find it too interesting. One, I dug too deep, and I listen to everything you tell me. and like I also I
sit him down every night with like textbooks and make him memorize things.
Yeah, like there's UFO books within fucking reach of us, but I don't like being lied to either. I always think we need to search out the unknown.
We're always going to be lied to.
We're all being lied to.
And we'll end on that note. We're all being lied to. And be sure to check out next week's episode.
Search the bowels of the unknown, and if you guys have an idea for the show or something you'd like us to see, send it over to Whale Pranks.
And hopefully our GoPro will be fixed by then.
Yeah, we're gonna. This is episode 1. We're ironing out the kinks, but we want you guys to know that we don't know, but this is going from the bowels of the unknown to you, the listener. And,
bye.
We love you, and we want you to question everything.
Question everything, including us.
Yeah. Question if we're real.